Today we're going to check out 8 campgrounds around Sturgis, and at the end we're going to tell you what we thought about all of them. So let's go! So today we're going to be checking out 8 different campgrounds around the Sturgis area. We're just driving through most of these, and at the end today we're going to tell you what we thought about all of them. So here's the 8 that we're going to be checking out today.
We went through the Steel Pony, Butte State Park, Ride and Rest, Glencoe, some BLM Lamb on Camp Road 5, Rush No More.
We're going to head over to Kickstands, and also the last one we're going to see is Hog Heaven. Let's go! One of our other stops while we were down here at Glencoe, we thought we'd just come across the street, check out the Steel Pony, kind of drive through their campground, a little bit smaller campground. They got a small pool here. They've already got the fence up, so not able to get inside to check out what's going on, or what they had going on during the rally. But let's take a quick drive through here, and you can see what their campground looks like. Got another campsite if you guys are looking for one. You can get 15 days here at Butte Mountain Campground, right across from the mountain. You can stay up to 15 days. It's $11.63 and there's no services. We have a picnic table. Most of them have a little patio cover over it, rain shelter, whatever you want to call it. We're going to take a drive through here, take a look at it. Might be a thought for you. We're gonna do a little drive through Ride and Rest. Right out here on the 79, right next to the Iron Horse Campground, which we got a review on that one. We'll bring that one back up here too, kind of take you through that and let you check it out. Looks like here there's a lot of full hookups. They also had an area way back there in the back. We kind of drove through it a little ways, but there's a bridge, takes you back there. There was a whole bunch of trees. This would probably be a great place if you had some tent camping you wanted to do. This place would probably work out great. Not a lot of shade for the full hookups, but it looked like they had a pretty big hall up here, activity center. It was all closed up, couldn't get inside. Looks like it's pretty much locked down. They got the cabins here at the very top of the hill, but there were some more cabins down there around the back. So let's go take a drive through, and you can see what you think about Ride and Rest. And if you stayed here and you liked it or didn't like it, let us know down there in the comments what you thought about Ride and Rest. seen all the little campgrounds that we checked out around Sturgis. Also remember, there's already 3 or 4 that I've already gone through that you can go back through and check out through the vlogs and see a more detailed on some of the ones we did previously. So we'll start off with Steel Pony. Steel Pony was actually the old site of where Full Throttle used to be. Never camped there. We had a few people that tell us about going over there and checking it out. We couldn't make it over there till the rally was over. They were already locked up. They had a pool. From the street, it looks a lot bigger. Got a lot of concrete around, a lot of lounge chairs. Looks like they've got their own bar. They got some cabins up there on the hill. That's not too bad. It's right across from the Beaver Bar. Next one we went to
was Butte State Park. This is pretty much no facilities there. There's some porta potties, but no electrical, sewer, or water there. But you're right there on the lake, and it's really nice and pretty. And it was only like $11 and some change to stay per night. So if you're just going to be there a few nights, or if you're into boondocking, that's a great place to go.
Next one we headed up to was
Ride and Rest.
Ride and Rest, we just did a quick drive through there. That was a lot bigger campground than I thought. They had that camping in the background there for your tents, and you could probably put some boondocking trailers back in there too. They had that little bridge. We didn't go over that bridge, but you probably could. There were some picnic tables and stuff back there. So that might be a pretty good place if you're looking for some shade. But of course, the full hookups are like everybody else's, out in the sun.
Yep.
Next one we went through is Glencoe. There's a whole video out there on Glencoe that I did, so you can check that out. This is just a quick drive through to show you that this was right before the rally started, about 2 weeks. We followed one of our friends in. He was staying there. That's him in front of us in that four-wheeler there, ATV. We followed him in, kind of see a little bit more. That's kind of the boondocking area, tent area. There's also a word for that. They call it, alley. So if anybody's been to Glencoe, they know what that is. Next one we went to was the BLM Camp 5 Road. That's out there between Deadwood and Sturgis. It's not on the map. We stumbled over this as we were driving around. We kept seeing it, and we seen a few trailers down there, and we thought, hey, we're going to drive down there. We don't have a lot of information. There was no signs about charging for this, so I'm believing that this is probably one of the typical ones you can stay 14 to 15 days for free. When we went down there, this was after the rally. There was about 3 or 4 trailers back in there. There were several tents back there. This might be a place you might want to check out. It may not be as great if you were going to take your motorcycle down that hill. The road was a little rough, but there was actually 2 motorcycles down there that were camping. So
you do have to cross a creek, Brad. That would be kind of risky on your motorcycle because there was big rocks, not just chat.
So that was after the second half. I didn't show that on the video, but the first half when you first went down the hill, that's before you get across the river there, or the creek.
The next one we went through was Rush No More. Now, we just kind of got to drive through that. We asked to talk to the gentleman that owned it. He was not available, and we gave him our name and asked him to give us a call if we could do an interview with him. He never called us back, so I guess he didn't want an interview. But it did have some shady areas. There were some tall pine trees there, so it was a little more shady than most for a full hookup, but there's a good place to go for tents too.
That one there, we had a lot of requests for Rush No More to go check that one out. We went in there a couple of times trying to check out for the owner. The people at the counter didn't want to give us any type of permission to drive through or even videotape anything. So, we videotaped what we did as we just drove through. There wasn't a lot of shade when it came to the full hookups. They had a pine tree here, a tree there, but for the trailers, it didn't look like they had a lot. But once again, we weren't allowed to drive through there, so take that with a grain of salt. The next place we went to was Kickstands. That's a pretty neat campground. That's probably one of the only campgrounds in Sturgis that is open year-round. A couple other people told me that Chris is out there in Spearfish is open year-round too, but that's not in Sturgis. So that's 2 options of campgrounds that are open. The other nice thing about Kickstand is the 2 people that own it now, they've owned it about 3 or 4 years, they are bikers. So they do know the biker language. They know how we have to deal, what kind of camping we need, kind of entertainment we want, things like that. So they got kind of good insight. We never got to meet his wife, but we did get to meet him. Joey, and he was a pretty nice guy. He wanted us to come back and do more. We actually videotaped some more, which I didn't put it on the video here. Inside the bar, they got a really nice bar. The food was pretty good there. It was pretty good. We went in there one night and listened to the band and stuff that they had, a house band, and it sounded pretty good. They were might be worth checking out. Picked out where we're going to stay this year for next year for 2021. We stayed at Kathmandu last year, and there's a video for that if you go back and watch that one. That's where we stayed. We've been there twice now over the last 10 years. So this year, we're actually kicking around maybe going to kickstands, but we haven't decided. But all their full hookups are out in the sun like everybody else. But you can get down there along the highway, and you're kind of in the shade, but you're not in the shade. You know, you got to put back into the woods there, and it looks like there's a creek that runs through there. You may not be able to get your trailer back there to actually be in the shade. So if you had a tent, yes, there's definitely places to go for tent. So kickstands is a pretty neat place. I'd probably consider staying there. The last one we drove through, which a bunch of people told us about, was Hog Heaven. Of course, this is way after the rally was already over. You know, there was nothing there. I think at the very end, the guys were actually trying to chase us down and find out why we were driving through. They had a little bit of full hookups there when we first pulled in. They got some cabins over there. That's about it. The rest of the place, this place must be 500,000, maybe more acres. Most of it's on a hill. It looks like it's ideal for tent camping, but I don't know if I'd want to put my RV up on top of any of the hills back into the woods and stuff. There might be a couple level spots that you could find, but you definitely, when we drove through there, it's big. It's a lot of ground there. Not a lot of facilities, a lot of Johnny on the spots all over the place. They had the big shower house. It looked like they might have had some entertainment out there. Once again, we didn't really know much about Hog Heaven until the rally was over. So that kind of ended up all the campgrounds that we looked at. Is there any ones that you thought were kind of nice? You know, we looked at the Steel Pony. For us, probably no. The Bear Butte, you know, if we needed a few days, we were actually kicking around the Bear Butte State Park. We drove through there, which this video when we showed you, there were still open spots there. They only have about 15 spots. So we would be consider that as a boondocking place if we needed a few days. Bed and Rest was really neat. I didn't put back on here the Iron Horse Campground, which is right next door. That's a really neat one too. I believe I did a video on that. If I didn't, we'll do another one for them. That was a pretty neat one. Glencoe, it speaks for itself. If we did Glencoe, we would definitely stay in the boondocking area. I just don't know, because with what we're doing now with the editing and everything, I need some sleep, and Glencoe is not always the best place to do your sleeping at. The BLM Camp Road out there, that would be a possibility. Rush No More, I'd probably pass on that guy. I think we tried to get a hold of him several times. He didn't want to call. With an attitude like that, he either has enough business or he doesn't want any more business. So I don't think I'd give him any of my business. Kickstands, we talked about that. Hog Heaven, I think we'd pass on that. So take it from there, look at all the videos, you decide which campground that you might want to stay at in 2021. And if you got any other ideas, or if you stayed in any of these campgrounds and you liked them, leave your comment down in the bottom. That way we know a little more about those campgrounds, because we never stayed at them. So this is, once again, just our opinion, and everybody has an opinion. So we're going to go ahead and leave you with that.
So thanks for coming along today. We hope you got some information from these campgrounds, some of them that you wanted to see or check out. And like Bob said, if you stayed there and you can give us some insight on things we didn't see, let us know. And subscribe to our channel, tell your family and friends about us, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for notifications, and we'll see you on the next video.
See you in a couple days.